Good morning, everyone. We're going to start with a land acknowledgement. So we acknowledge that Washington, D.C. sits on the ancestral lands of the Anacostans, also documented as Nacochunk, or now part of the Piscataway Indian Nation. We honor the ancestors. This land acknowledgement was prepared with the help of Dr. Gabriel Tayak, Piscataway Nation. I'm Dr. Ada Velagelio Diaz, and I'm an assistant professor in English at the University of the District of Columbia. And happy Earth Day and happy Poetry Month. And welcome to Poetry for Community Healing, poetry reading, and open mic. This event is sponsored by Sigma Tau Delta and the Latinx Student Association, and this is also part of the English Program's Community Engagement Initiative. And this is also part of a class that I'm teaching, which is American Literature, Latinx authors. So the featured poets today are Kianny and Antigua and Kimberly Collins. And this event will cover themes such as collective and racial trauma, decolonizing self and community, gender and violence, and ancestry and roots, illness, recovery. And at the end of the event, we'll have an open mic so that anyone in the community could share a poem or flash fiction or whatever you want to do. And we'll do like a competition to see in voting. So there will be a Q&A after the poetry reading. And for the open mic, you can sign in the chat area. And Dagmara is going to be posting how to sign in for the open mic. And I'm happy to introduce to you Dr. Helene Krothammer, who's the English Program Director, and who's also going to tell us about Sigma Tau Delta.
Hi, welcome everybody. Happy Earth Day, happy Poetry Month. And thank you, Dr. Velagelio Diaz, for organizing such a great event. Sigma Tau Delta is the English Honor Society. It's an international honor society. And we have several members here with us today. It's a great organization because we do a lot of service activities. In fact, we're engaged in a service activity right now, helping students in an essay competition for the DC public schools. And we do book drives when there's places to collect books. And we do, and there are a lot of opportunities for students. So if any of the students out there are interested in joining Sigma Tau Delta, we're hoping to have an induction in early May, and we welcome new members. Just send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat area if you'd like to join. You just have to be have a GPA of 3.0 and have taken our critical writing course in English. And once you're a Sigma Tau Delta member, you're always a Sigma Tau Delta member. So thank you so much for all being here, and I hope good luck with the poetry event and the open mic and all that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Now we have Deborah Wells, who's going to introduce the first poet, Kimberly Collins. Is Deborah here? Okay, so since I don't see her here, I'm just going to introduce Kimberly. So Kimberly Collins is a Callaloo Fellow and Pushcart finalist who teaches English at Howard University. She's the author of 2 books of poetry, Bessie's Resurrection and Slightly Off Center, as well as a collection of essays, Choose You, Wednesday Wisdom to Wake Your Soul. She's the founder of SOAR, So Others Ascend Righteously, where she conducts writing for healing programs, a proud alum of Howard University, where she earned her MA in African American and American Literature, and Spalding University, where she earned her MFA. And her early work appeared in the seminal anthology edited by Ras Baraka and Kevin Powell, In the Tradition, an anthology of young Black writers. Her most recent poetry appears in the 100 Years House, forthcoming, Beltway Quarterly, 50/50 Poems and Translation by Women Over 50, Pittsburgh Poetry Review, Revised the Psalm, the Gwendolyn Brooks Anthology, Syracuse Cultural Workers, 2017 Women Artists Date um, Truth Feasting, Anthology of African American Writers, the Berkeley Review, and more. She's a native of Philadelphia who currently resides in Washington, D.C. Welcome, Kimberly. Okay, you need to unmute.
Sorry about that. Thank you. Thank you for having me. As I said, we were trying to figure out what we wanted to read, and we talk about writing for healing. All of the writing is a healing to us in some ways, especially with so much going on. I want to share this piece that I wrote when my grandson was born. And you had mentioned that I have some work upcoming in the 100-Year House, but that actually, the anthology's name has been changed to Where I Stand, Black Poems of Resistance. So this is called I Swallowed a Poem Today. There is no water here. His passageway, a bloody river, fist, feet fitting my palm, his beautiful crown of hair, a spell on him, my prayers sung thrice, sound tangled, gossamer, rattling, ghost, Emmett, Eric, India, Trayvon, Tamir, Sandra, snuffed, smothered, somebody's babies bereft of light. Their blood does not cover him. Hymns washing, bloods in rigor, bodies in rigor, mortars pose. I do not write a poem for my grandson. I sing in prayer. And what struck me with that poem was that I had all of these happy thoughts about my grandson being born, but it was in the midst of all of this war on Black bodies. And him being born during this time, I say to give birth during this time is a revolutionary thing. And so I had to try to feel a way of healing the trauma that not just myself, but others were feeling about our Black sons, our Black daughters who have been hunted and slaughtered as if they were just roadkill. So we talk about healing, we have to talk about the truth of what's happening during our everyday lives as well. So one of the other poems that I came up with was that I thought I would share today is a poem of hope, which is called Breaking Glass. Porcelain, thermoplastics, fiberglass, stained glass. My babies need to know all glass is breakable. Our ancestors did it beating drums, inciting the Stono Rebellion. They did it turning the Amistad around. David Walker did it writing his appeal. Phyllis Wheatley, Moses Horton, Harriet Wilson did it writing their way to freedom. Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, our Buffalo soldiers blasted their way free. Ceiling crowning her head, Harriet Jacobs sat cramped 7 years, bending her spine, spying, biding her time to break free. Frederick Douglass broke the glass around books, holding his knowledge hostage, tricking and trapping him into an enslaved state, agitating for freedom with a bounty on his head. I need my babies to know, even as they are hunted on city streets, they too can blast the glass. Oprah did it. Barack and Michelle did it. Shattered all that white glass around the White House built by captured Africans, cutting Confederate dreams. My babies got to be told to remember they walk on the remains of glass used to segregate us from offices, hotels, buses, water fountains, bathrooms, and boardrooms. Some of their families feel the crunch beneath their feet when their children defy prison pipelines, sit in college classrooms instead of cells, graduate from college instead of being released on probation. I want them to know when they enter their college classrooms, sit in those chairs, they are sitting on centuries of splintered glass left by earth shakers who understood the privilege, the responsibility to go back, to pull up the next one. So they know nothing man-made can crush their dreams. All they ever need is the vision and the will to break the glass. And I'm going to send that out to my Howard students who I see are on the platform. So I will turn it over to my sister poet at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to introduce Kianny and Antigua. Is a senior lecturer of Spanish, translator and fiction writer for both children and adults, and poet. She has published 21 books of children's literature, 4 of short stories, 2 collections of poems, a novel, an anthology, a book of microfiction, and a journal. She has won more than 15 awards, among them first place at the International Latino Book Awards for Most Inspirational Children's Picture Book, Bilingual, in 2018, Premio Letras de Ultramar, Children's Lit in 2015 and 2017, and in 2016, the 15th Concurso Nacional de Cuentos, Sociedad Cultural Alianza Cibaeña. The same year, she was the honored writer of the 23rd Book Fair of Dominican Writers in New York City. Many of her texts have been included and published in anthologies, literary magazines, newspapers, and textbooks. Some have been translated into English, French, and Italian. So welcome.
Ahora sí. I was opening too many things there. Thank you so much. Oh, wow, Kimberly, I am so happy to have met you, to listen to your poetry, to listen to your voice reading your poetry. Thank you for everything, for this moment.
Thank you.
Ada, because Kimberly began with this topic, I'm going to share a short video. I know it's in Spanish, but we can talk about it after. I don't have that one translated, but I want to show you the video that a friend of mine made out of this poem. And then I'll show you the poem and we can go over that. And then I'll share something else. But let me share my screen. And this is the poem, but I'm going to share the video that he made.
De ser cabellera sin duda sería rizada, hecha de hebra gruesa, pelo de guerreras, pelo rizo de curvas, ensortijado y de sortilegios, pelo crespo, insurrecto y rebelde, pelo que no teme a la lluvia y que como las llamas se eleva y echa raíces en el viento.
As you can see, it's very short. And this is the poem. It's called Raíz, Roots. Ada, would you give me a hand? De ser cabellera, sin duda sería rizada. If I were hair, I would be curly. Hecha de hebra gruesa, pelo de guerreras. Made out of thick strain, would you say? Hair of fighters, of female fighters. Pelo rizo, de curvas, ensortijado y de sortilegios. Curly hair with curves. I would have no idea how to translate this. Ensortijado y de sortilegios. Magical, with magical.
Magical kinky hair, perhaps?
Not kinky, no.
Peaceful.
Crespo, curly also, or kinky, yeah, it's insurrecto y rebelde. We know this word, right? What is rebelde? Anybody?
I know.
Rebelde?
Rebellious. Grace wrote in the chat. Rebellious.
Yes. What about insurrecto? It's also a cognate. Insurrection, insurrected, and rebellious. Pelo que no teme a la lluvia. Hair that is not afraid of rain. Y que como las llamas en like fire se eleva y echa raíces en el viento. It elevates itself and grows roots in the
wind.
air, in the wind. I know that it's hard to translate like this poetry, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. The other poem that I want to share is, again, I wrote it in Spanish and my partner translated in English, and here are both versions. I wrote this in 2013 after the Boston bombing, marathon bombing. And it's en español, voy a leerlo, I'm going to read it in Spanish and then in English. Ya no es cosa de frutas ni de South. Extraños pedazos caen del cielo. La joroba de los árboles no pudo con el peso ni con la tristeza. El estallido de una fruta gigantesca, al caer, inunda el viento y la pulpa se esparce manchando las aceras y la memoria. El camino solo ha podrido al hombre. Extraños los tiempos. Extraño Dios. It is no longer about fruits nor the South. Strange pieces fall from the sky. The tree's humpback could not take the weight nor the sadness. The explosion of a gigantic fruit floods the air upon falling, and its pulp scatters about, staining sidewalks and memory. The road simply has rotten men. Strange times, strange God. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to have another round of poetry with Kimberly again.
Kimberly, the microphone.
Thank you. I'm not alone. This piece I wrote for Toni Morrison. I'm trying to pull it up. Bear with me. Good gracious. Well, while I wait for that, I'm going to, instead of reading that one, I'm going to read something else to make it a little bit easier for myself. From my book, Bessie's Resurrection. And Bessie's Resurrection is a book where I talked about three Bessies: Bessie Mears, which is Richard Wright's, fictive Bessie, as well as Bessie Coleman, and the soundtrack is of Bessie Smith. And I'm going to read the lead poem in the book. It's called Bessie's Resurrection. I am Venus, Hottentot, Yimiya, Olakun, Oshun. I am able to drown all your lies and belch a new day. I swallow myself to become myself, sucking my wisdom like a mango seed. I piss lemonade, ginger ale, sweet tea, depending on what I desire. I see God when I come. My orgasms awaken tribal orgies in Congo Square, Bessie's blues, gospel revivals. I am a repetitive riff off time, a shout without disclaimer. I am mixed, call me magenta. All of me is primary. I am polyrhythmic consciousness, black language of resistance, splintering sound, haunting word hordes, a reinvention of my own invention. Jesus' voice claws my vocal cords. I don't whisper when I sing songs, when funk rides my bones, when my spunk inspires me to fly, when I'm riding my man to heaven and back hollering hallelujah just the same. Blasphemy be damned. Sun's amber lips pucker, kiss well-traveled feet. Somber moon caresses belly folds, knowing all I hold. Stars wink my destiny, spark against ebony skies, praying in low hum. What is that early whistle? What feathered thing sings her strange alarms? I am red dawn trailing night's lullaby. Many pieces of day uncounted, abandoned, wisp of memory, mistaken for unremarkable. A mystery excavated, discovered, and resurrected late. Next piece that I believe that I want to share is Flying African, and this one is written for Bessie Coleman, the first Black woman aviator. And even when he said, "You nigger women ain't never gonna fly," I sprung free to test my wings. And even though I thought I could stay snuggled in Jenny's pit, I wasn't scared to spit sky. And even though there were no attached strings, I was in awe, flipping wind, diving clouds. And even when they came to witness my 351st solo flight, I left them crying, wanting more. And even though my bones lay mangled in crumbled dust, their weight released let me soar. And even though they mourned my downed flight, they could not know this little lemon gal was one of them Africans who could fly. Thank you. So I'm thinking we had 2 poems apiece as we do this kind of round robin, and I'm waiting to get inspired by Kianny some more. I really love your work, and I was really trying to read the Spanish myself. You know,
and that's why I like to share it, because even if you're not,
I got a couple of the words. I felt really good.
So let's continue the enjoyment and the line shared. There you go. Mujer, esta casa se quema muy lento. No importa cuántas páginas corran siniestras, cuántos personajes se me inserten en la psiquis y en la pluma, cuántos mundos las musas me anticipen, ni universos mis dedos inventen. Siempre surgen subyugantes, la herencia, la polis, que el niño, que cuando el otro, que el polvo, los calderos, el trapo, el marido cama desgane, las arrugas en las caras y en las camisas, las citas. A pesar del ruido, si no escribiera, el vacío perdería el retorno. En mi garganta morirían las semillas. Y es que no importa cuán poeta sea, el lecho de mis uñas siempre termina oliendo a ajo majado y a cebollas. No importa cuánta benzina rocíe. Esta casa se quema lento, muy lento. Woman, this house burns very slowly. No matter how many pages run sinister, how many characters insert themselves into my psyche in my pen, how many worlds the muses anticipate for me, or universes my fingers expelled, invent. Heritage, the police, the child, the when is the next one coming, the dust, the pots, the cleaning rag, the husband bed apathy, the wrinkles in the faces and on the shirts, dates, appointments, always emerge subjugating it all. Despite the noise, if I didn't write, the emptiness would lose its return. In my throat, the seeds would die. But no matter how much of a poet I am, the ridges of my nails always end up smelling of crushed garlic and onion. It does not matter how much fuel I pour. This house burns slowly. Oh, so slowly. This one doesn't have a title. I've never been able to put a title on this one. Y dice, dormido hasta el polvo quedó el día tras la llegada irrevocable del sueño. Allí, las manos fueron cerraduras, los dientes mordieron sus lenguas, negros, carcomidos y groseros como muerte. Pubis con pus y flagelados miembros fueron los géneros. La columna sintió la ruptura de Eva y el tiempo le dio de comer a las lombrices. Slept until dusk, the day was left. After the irrevocably arrival of sleep, there, hands were locks, the teeth beat their tongues, black, decayed and crude like death. Pubis with pus and flagellated members were the genders. The backbone felt Eva's breaking, and time fed the earthworms. Thank you.
Nice. I'm going to try again. I don't know. I'm trying to pull up my Word document. So it's not allowing me.
Okay, I can set it up so you can share your screen. Just 1 second.
So I can share now? Okay. It's not letting me. This is weird.
Oh no, the connection just went and then everybody froze and then it's back now. Yay!
Is that what happened?
Are you able to share your screen now?
Okay, 1 minute. I think I might be able to just pull it up at this point.
Okay, I can also make you presenter if the option is not working. And sorry about my background now. Is my son is in school right now. Let me make presenter.
We are all making it work.
Mhm.
Oh, gracious. Let's see. I want that. Just doesn't want to work right. Well, fortunate for me, I have a book. So I could just share more from my book. Where are we now? So maybe I want to give you a little background on all three Bessies. And this is called the Three Bessie Bop. And the bop is a form of poetry that was created by Michael Alpha Weaver during the Cave Canem poetry workshops. If I could fly this way again, I'd still plow cotton field skies, fearless. Chocolate dipped wings will hover, break free, currents twist, him bucking wind, flying with me this time, I scrape ground. I got a sad, sad story today. I got a sad, sad story today. I'm going to the gin house when the whistle blows. I learned the Hail Mary and the praise dance too. Throw myself over Jesus's bent knee, curtsy past this life of misery. All my life's been full of hard trouble. If I wasn't hungry, I was sick. If I wasn't sick, I was in trouble. I ain't never bothered nobody. I just worked hard every day. I I had to get drunk to forget it. I had to get drunk to sleep. I wish to God I never seen bigger. I wish to God one of us died before we was born. I've got a sad, sad story today. I've got a sad, sad story today. I'm going to the gin house when the whistle blows. We weren't apron dress women. Nothing natural was going to kill us. It had to be something stronger than wind, brick, or car. All my life spent singing blues notes to be seen, singing something about being black and being woman, being black and blue, being black and beautiful too. I've got a sad, sad story today. I've got a sad, sad story today. I'm going to the gin house when the whistle blows. My troubles come like rain that's all been poured before. I've just turned this book into an audiobook, and my friend Coley Williams is singing the bridge part, which is the part with that I take from Bessie Smith's songs. So if you get a chance, go to Audible and you can hear this in a whole different way. I'm going to read the last poem, which is called Why Bessie, of the collection, and I think that it's more of a, what do they call it, a spoiler alert regarding all of what I'm talking about and why I'm talking about Bessie. Why Bessie? Church, I want to ask you, why not Bessie? When you ask the Lord why me, he says, why not you? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Bessie was like any of you. She was Black, she was female, she was poor, she was in love, she was a daughter, she was a hard worker, just like any of you. Why Bessie? Why not Bessie? Her name conjures up sleeping souls rocked in the belly of slave ships. Her blues first explode there in the bows of this hellish ship that docked her and our forefathers on this foreign shore. She came womb weary, dumped her load in Yemiya's arms. She expels more seeds and planted rows after drinking penny royalty. This was her open revolt. She refused to birth anyone that wasn't free. Her name is synonymous with both beast and woman. Teeth checked, nipples pinched, private parts probed in public places by pale-faced peeping toms. She is a muddied map of southern red clay stuck to her heels, plowing through stubborn earth, pulling weight that is never hers, to turn over soil to steal a yam, to cook to remind her of home, where festivals welcome the yam's arrival. Church, I said church. I know Bessie Mears ain't the first Bessie you knowed. Who don't know an Aunt Bessie, Cousin Bess, Grandma Bess, Mama Bessie, Queen Bessie, or that woman called Empress that y'all sneak to the juke joint to see? Even Mister got a mule named Bessie. Her name is a collective song, moan in the meaning. It means she knows something about somebody trying to ride the will out of you. It means her gnarled knuckles will not allow rings of deceit to slide over them for an unkempt promise. It means her unlettered words from her fire breath speak her bruised beauty out of boxed lives. Bessie is the celestial charmer, the secret keeper of the soil's healing power. Bessie's name hums meaning into lives which are real and imagined and hard. Her name, like her life, was a subtle blues note, a slow moan while spooning stew. And church, I said church, on that day when we thought she died, when they pulled her body out that cold chute, it was more than her that was raised from that place. No, brothers and sisters, Bessie didn't die in that chute. When she came up, all those Bessies who wear iron harnesses around their shoulders and on their backs, dragging unwanted weight, rose up too. Yes, all those Bessies who waited upon the Lord had their strength renewed and mounted up with wings as eagles. They ran and were not weary no more. All those Bessies whose mouths were silenced with leather bits came out with her that day. They escaped Shadrach, Abednego, and Meshach's fiery furnace of woe. She was Jesus who suffered the blunt trauma to his skin, but not his spirit to rise again, asking, do you remember me? Church, do you remember him? The one who died on Calvary, nailed to a wooden cross. You ask, why? Why him, this mighty Lamb of the world? Why? Why Bessie? A woman who looked just like you, blending all our nighted memories of kingdoms and queens buried in the dust tract of our tears. I'm going to close now. But before I leave here today, I want you all to chew on this in the front of your minds. They say Jesus had 12 disciples, but that ain't true. They forgot Mary Magdalene and Jesus' own mama. So why Bessie? Because Bessie was one of them too. Thank you.
Okay, you have to hear this.
Church clap.
Yes, 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 yes.
Thank you.
That Bessie and so many other Bessies. Yes.
Right. We all Bessie.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Wow. See? Yes, professor, said somebody there. This is such a blessing. All of you students are so lucky to be here and to have Kimberly as a professor. If you do, it has been an honor. I am sharing two very short poems, and this one I wrote in 2018, I believe. And the title, even though I wrote it in Spanish, the title had to be in English because there is no phrase for this in Spanish. The Birds and the Bees. Thinking about my daughter, her name is Mia. And I'm going to read the Spanish and you can follow me in the English version. Ahora que ha llegado el momento de la verdad, ¿Cómo explicarle a Mía que hemos ignorado Gaza y que Gaza no queda en Gaza, sino en cualquier parte? Que la esclavitud es cosa del pasado, claro, pero que aún hay hombres que compran niños y niñas que son vendidas enteras y por partes, que ya no hay linchamientos. Ahora incendiamos sinagogas repletas de creyentes. Entramos a cualquier escuela secundaria, intermedia o primaria y ametrallamos contra otras pieles, contra ellos, los malos, los otros. Que bombardeamos casas, ciudades, países completos, jurando fe, promoviendo libertad, pero tras oro negro. Que matamos porque sí, porque podemos, que hemos contaminado su espacio, que sí, que hemos avanzado. Ahora tuiteamos, chateamos, tagueamos. Hemos llegado a la luna y hemos visto más allá, pero también hemos retrocedido. Hemos perdido la habilidad de hablar, que hemos envejecido faltos de compasión. Explicarle a mi hija que el sexo es placer es lo de menos. ¿Cómo le explico el resto? Thank you. This poem I am going to read in English. And I wrote this one about 4 years and some months ago, November 8th. Today, it could be the saddest day of all. The children were not wrong. The monster was still there, under their beds, inside the cabinets, behind the windows' cracks. It was observing, feeding its thirsts and nursing from other people's smiles. It was squirming, almost mute, but squirming. No, they were not wrong. The clown had just taken off his mask. That's why today easily is the saddest day of all. While the children slept, the night swallowed the dawn, and the little ones who are still dreaming do not imagine how close to our necks the beast is breathing. To close, I want to leave you with this video that I recorded. It's a poem, both in English and Spanish, very short poems, that I recorded for Robert Frost's anniversary. But we record this obviously in the fall, because right now, if you look out of my window, it's snowing. So this is not right now. Hi, hola, my name is Kianny Antigua, and at this moment, I would love to share with you one of my poems, The Rain, La Lluvia. La noche se abre y nace una paloma. El cielo hincha sus nubes para acogerla en su regazo, y en un intento por conocer la tierra y los hombres, rasga con el pico su vientre, evitando así que mis labios distingan entre el llanto de Dios y las vísceras de una nube. Rain. The night opens and a dove is born. Heaven swells its clouds to welcome her into its lap. And in an attempt to know earth and men, rips with her beak its belly, thus preventing my lips from distinguishing between the tears of God and the entrails of a cloud. Thank you. Gracias. Of course, my daughter criticized me because I say dove and I'm supposed to say dove. There you have it. Thank you. Gracias. Thank you so much. I actually have another poem for Earth Day, but I don't know if we're gonna have time. Maybe at the end when
No, you can read
everybody
it
shares.
now. That's fine.
Okay. So again, I'll share it in English. You read it in English, and I'll read the Spanish version. How's that? I have.
I read it in English.
No. I mean everybody there.
Okay.
Okay, I actually have both, but I don't know how am I gonna show it. Hold on. Share. So this is the English and this is this, I mean, backwards. This is the Spanish and that's the English. Let me make this smaller so you can see the English better. Conquista. Wait, sorry. Can you see it? Yay, can you read it? Yes. Sí, como la semilla que vuela, se deja caer y abrazar por la tierra. De ella se nutre y por ella y su materno vientre se estiran sus raíces, se endurece y alarga su tronco y se extienden las ramas al sol que la bendice de igual modo. La semilla que deja de serlo para convertirse en árbol, alimentado de siglos y elementos, copa que juega con la lluvia y el viento y brinda por su libertad, aunque no conozca la palabra ni sus acepciones. Como árbol que ha dejado de ser semilla y que ahora se entera de que tiene nombre, de que la tierra que lo acogió tiene nombre y dueño, y que su sombra tiene dueño, y que sus frutos, sus hojas, sus mieles tienen dueño. Cuando la semilla se deja, como la semilla que deja de serlo para convertirse en árbol y que después de creerse suyo se sabe ajeno, talada. Thank you. Any of the students would like to read in English? Read it in English, please, por favor. Yes, no, I cannot see. I just see my screen and Soren, por favor. Please, thank you.
I can. Okay, conquest. Yes, like the seed that flies, drops and allows itself to be embraced by earth, nourished by the soul, and because of it and its maternal womb, its roots are stretched. Its trunk hardens and lengthens, and its branches extend to the sun that blesses it in the same way. The seed that ceases to become a tree, fed by centuries and elements, crown that plays with the rain and the wind, and cheers for its freedom. Although unfamiliar with the word and its definitions, like a tree that is no longer a seed, and now it finds out it has a name, that the land that welcomed it has a name, an owner, and that its shadow has an owner, that its fruits, its leaves, its sap have an owner. Like the seed that ceases to become a tree, and that, after believing it belongs to itself, knows it belongs to someone else, chopped.
Thank you. Gracias. Muchas gracias. I know that the translation, it has some, I don't know, the language is the structure is a little different, but that's because in Spanish it's also like that. It's not that the translation is off. It's that I wanted to make those stops and those, put emphasis on those things in Spanish too. Thank you. Gracias.